Welcome everybody. In this video, we're gonna talk about 7 signs that proves they are addicted to pornography and not only an observer who is just watching it for fun, but you are actually addicted and you need to overcome it as quick as possible. So if you have at least 3 of these signs, then you need to overcome this addiction as quick as possible because it's gonna have a lot of side effects from now until the next couple years. And so there is a massive deception happening in your mind right now is that your ego, and yes, ego is the enemy. Your ego is constantly telling you that I just watch it a little bit too much. It's okay, brother. You can go and watch it again. And maybe it's just a small little bad habit, we can fix it either way, and I can stop whether I want at any time I want. I don't really care. But the brutal reality is that your brain doesn't care about your excuses. Your brain, the only thing that your brain is looking for is being comfortable and keep relapsing on a daily basis every single second because your brain wants something that will make him feel this pleasure and increase as much dopamine as possible. And of course, produce as much dopamine as possible as well. And so in this video, we're gonna step away from the motivational hype because I'm gonna be raw and real with you, is that I'm going to map out the exact 7 psychological signs that prove you are no longer just a casual observer, you just don't watch it because you want to feel pleasure, but you are actively addicted. You are genuinely addicted and you need to overcome it as quick as possible. So let's look at these raw mechanics of your subconscious mind. Obviously, as you can see here, boom, there is 7 signs, breakdown of course. I'm gonna show you one by one and make sure that you are, locked in and make sure that I have your full attention because trust me, it's worth it. Okay, so the first one is called the escalation of the content or the novelty trap. It all makes sense when I say the novelty trap. Is that you started with the basic standard image or a video years ago. Remember the day when you were just chilling in your dad's room, right, your father's room, and out of nowhere you found a magazine or a DVD and you put this DVD into like this old TVs, and boom, out of nowhere there is some weird, pornographic scenes, of 2 people having intimate relationship, and that's the first time ever you felt like there is something wrong with it, but at the same time you like it. You're so confused. You're like, what the hell is actually going on right now? Or maybe you just found a magazine in a place or maybe a shop and you was like, okay, let me actually buy this and look at. Then boom, out of nowhere you saw those Playboy girls magazines and so on. Or maybe one of your friends when you were young, he told you to go and search this name or search this specific website, boom, out of nowhere, or a keyword actually, because for me it started with a keyword like kissing, something like that, I don't know. And over time, the more you do research, the more you're gonna find out there is very bad pornographic sites. So that's probably more than 90% of people how they find out about pornography actually. And so today, those same videos do nothing for you. Those videos they use it to watch when you were young on your dad's TV, or those magazines they use it to see with your own eyes, doesn't really make you feel as good as it was before when you were young. And so your brain has adapted to that baseline of level of dopamine. And so forcing your subconscious to seek out increasingly extreme, more extreme, you need more extreme content, more bizarre. You start to ask yourself, what the hell am I watching? But at the same time, you like what you're watching. You can go from watching 2 people having intimate relationship, right? I'm not gonna say it on YouTube, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. 2 people doing love. From this, you're gonna go to maybe transgender, maybe gay pornography, and so on. I'm not gonna go deep into it, but you get what I'm saying. That means you need even more extreme content. And I'm like, what the hell is actually going on with my brain? But obviously here is the problem is mainly the dopamine. And so forcing your subconscious to seek out increasingly more extreme, like I've told you, more bizarre and more taboo genres, just to trigger the exact same response. And so here is what actually happening. I'm gonna explain you everything. Don't worry. You have to be conscious about it. Okay, and so if this is one of the signs that obviously you have that will prove that you are addicted, then trust me, this is one of the biggest signs actually. And so dopamine desensitization and radical content escalation, as you can see here, boom, here we go, zoomed. As you can see, this is the baseline of the dopamine. The more you watch those specific type of content or bizarre content, the more the peak will go up. And so because your brain wants to protect itself, the baseline will actually go up. And so the more the baseline go up, the more the peak have to go even more up. Basically, you have to increase the peak. And so in order to increase the peak, you need even more extreme content. That's why I told you you're gonna go from 2 people having an intimate relationship to basically maybe females, transgender, gay pornography, maybe more extreme, but I'm not gonna say it, like probably underage stuff. Okay, that's all I can say. Hopefully YouTube doesn't take this. And obviously the more you do this, obviously the crash will be there, and that's what you're gonna have something called the post-nut clarity. We're gonna talk about it afterwards. So that's the first sign. If you have this sign, trust me, do more research or actually watch my videos, because they will make you overcome porn addiction. And so there's the second sign, which is one of the most important ones. So I need your focus. Okay, so relapse under emotional stress, which is called the coping mechanism. Okay, and so you don't open the screen because you are generally turning it on. You open it because you had a brutal day at work, felt rejected by someone, or felt a wave of deep loneliness. And so porn has secretly evolved from a source of pleasure into your primary emotion anesthesia to escape reality. So when you feel bad, sad, overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, bored, all of those quote unquote negative emotions, even though those emotions are not negative, you will go and watch pornography. And so doing this, you are just basically coping with your own emotions. And so porn for yourself, or your nervous system in general, your nervous system sees porn as a way to cope with your own emotions, because obviously when you're going to be on flight or fight mode, obviously your nervous system need to relax down. You need to down regulate your nervous system. In order to down regulate your nervous system, guess what you have to do? Go and watch pornography. For you, if you're watching this video, for your case, the addiction that you currently have is pornography. For another person who is drinking, for him, he is actually using drinking as a coping mechanism. For another person, is smoking. For example, my brother, who is sometimes when he's stressed, or when he's mad, or when he's angry or something, he always gonna go and smoke, because he is using it as a coping mechanism. And so this is one of the best ways to understand it, is that every single time you feel a negative emotion, so negative emotion equals coping mechanism. Basically, you have to cope with those emotions, basically. Okay, and so you don't open the screen because you are generally turned on. You just open it because you feel bad after a long day of work. You're just like, okay, shit, now I have to go and make myself feel good. And what do I mean by making myself feel good is go and watching pornography. And so emotional spike, it can be stress, loneliness, etc., into a automated escape, which is obviously, pornography. And so you're gonna use the screen, the pixels, to go and relapse on those pixels. So just a quick little, here we go, I think you can see, just a quick little introduction of what do I mean by coping mechanism. And so a coping mechanism is a technique individuals use to manage stress, anxiety, or negative emotions. Different coping mechanisms such as problem solving, exercise, relaxation techniques, self-care, and social support can be healthy and constructive. Those are like things that you can do in order to use or cope with it in the positive way. For example, for me, when I use it to be stressed or sad, I just go to the gym. So I use the gym as a coping mechanism to make myself improve, to improve myself in general. For you, you watch pornography because you're going to use it as a coping mechanism. You are coping with those negative emotions, even though they're not really negative, if that makes sense. Now, we're going to go to the third sign, which is as well one of the most, let's say, present, one of the most present signs as well, which is severe brain fog and post-nut isolation, post-nut clarity. Okay, so here's how the mechanics works. Immediately after you finish, you don't feel accomplished. You feel a heavy, chemical crash. Your focus evaporates. Your motivation to work on your business completely dies, or going to your work or your job. You generally just don't want to go on work. You just want to stay on the bed the whole day, and maybe just go sleep for the whole day basically as well. And you instinctively want to isolate yourself from your family, friends, and the presence of God. Literally, you no longer want to talk with someone. You just want to stay with yourself alone. And so the reason why this is happening, it's because of your dopamine spike. Obviously, when you're gonna have a dopamine spike, you're gonna also have a dopamine crash. Like I've told you here, dopamine spike, the peak, boom, dopamine crash. This is what we call the crash. Here we go, as you can see. And so after this, you're going to have another thing, which is the prolactin, which is going to increase, it's going to crash. And so when the prolactin is increasing, what's going to happen is that your body is recovering. When your body going to be in this recovery mode, obviously you're going to need to sleep more, you're going to need to eat more, and so on. It's kind of like going to the gym and coming back. And so obviously dopamine spike, orgasm, and then boom, it crashes. And when it's gonna crash, the prolactin will be up as well. Okay, and so that's why you're gonna feel, most of the time you're gonna feel sad and feel like a very specific heavy negative emotion. And so here's a comment that obviously I didn't want on this website, I just found it on Google. This is basically how it feels like. So as you can see, a random guy on the hub, You ever just realized how depressing it is? How someone throws their life and essential public view of themselves away? We are all here for whatever reason, but it is honestly made me go soft knowing that there was a promise of this could change your life for the better, right? If you don't see how I think, consider this. Imagine the person you love as yours and only yours is happy with you and everything, then all of a sudden you don't satisfy her needs and she gets into pornography. I will hate that. As you can see, this is what we call the personal clarity. It's basically when you start to ask yourself some very deep questions and generally start to just literally feel ashamed, feel bad. Why did I do this in the first place? Why am I doing this? Okay. And obviously, here, scientifically talking, it's because of the dopamine crash, but also the prolactin rise. And so, this girl went to my high school, lol. It's pretty sad. Yeah. And so, the fourth sign is the just one more title. This is one of the most relatable as well. I had, obviously, for those people that don't know, I was addicted to pornography for 7 years and I managed to overcome this addiction. And I've made hundreds of men overcome this addiction. So if you actually struggle with porn addiction, check the first link in the description, book a free discovery call to see if you're a good fit. And so here, this is literally so crazy. And I think most of people that watch pornography or are addicted, they are actually doing this actually. So they're just one more title, endless scrolling loop. And so you sit down, intended to watch only 5 minutes, okay, just to relax and relapse, probably, maybe something like that. But your subconscious enters an automated state where you spend 45 minutes to 2 hours just endlessly opening tabs, searching for the perfect video, right? The perfect video. And you are literally hunting for a dopamine high from the search itself long before you even click on play. And so this is the dopamine hunting loop. Basically, this is what it kind of look like. As you can see, you go from just one tab of, I don't know, searching a very specific keywords into others and keep going and more and more and more. You keep opening a lot of tabs and you go from only 5 minutes to hours actually. Very long amount of time wasted just by searching for this perfect video, okay? And the fifth sign is the desensitization to real life intimacy, the flatline. So when you are interacting with a real world woman, obviously in person, you feel a sense of flatness or performance anxiety. You don't really feel like yourself and you don't feel like you want to reproduce with her, okay, or have intimate relationship with her. And so your brain has been conditioned to respond only to hyperstimulus pixels, okay, hyper stimulating pixels like pornography, obviously, and dynamic camera angles. Because think about it, those pornography websites and videos they are watching are very professional. They know very specific angles that they have to do, very specific sounds that they have to do, such as moaning and all of those that are fake, by the way, and so they go for very specific scenes, for very specific conversation, actors, obviously they're actors for a reason, so they are acting. And so all of this just to produce as much dopamine as possible so you can stick to it. And so your brain has been conditioned to respond to those specific scenes and specific mornings and all of those things that are highly produced with very specific production team and very professional as well, just in order to make you addicted. And obviously instant gratification render a normal healthy human connection boring to your nervous system. You no longer want to have a genuine connection with a real woman. That means you sit with her, talk about your life, she talk about her life. Maybe in the future she become your wife, potentially, or your girlfriend, then your wife. And you just don't want to do that, because you just know if you just take your phone, as you can see, you can just take your phone and just search the perfect keyword. Here you go, you're chilling, you don't need a girl. But obviously this will kill you. It will kill you. I've had a lot of people that I've made a more addiction, and a lot of them had this issue. A lot of them. And trust me, if you don't feel it right now, you will feel it in the next couple years. So hopefully take actionable steps right now so you don't feel them. We're gonna go a little bit scientifically talking about it here. So this is the D1 dopamine receptors, this is the D2 dopamine receptors. Those are the dopamines. The dopamine is produced here and it goes from here, and it transitions from here actually synaptic vesicles to this dopamine receptors, so we can get those dopamine. And basically when you're going to watch those type of sexual content, you will have a lot of rise of dopamine, a lot of production of dopamine, which is not natural, as you can see here. For example, in this picture, this one is probably not normal or decent, but obviously we're going to be watching pornography. You're going to have a lot of production of dopamine that will go here into those receptors, such as D2 dopamine receptors, which will be overflowed with the amount of dopamine that you're going to have. And that's what happens as well with drugs in general. And so the sixth sign is obviously your own identity boundaries. Obviously, you make a promise to yourself, like probably on Sunday morning, that you are completely done. You will no longer come back and watch this type of sexual content because you promise God, you promise your future spouse, and you promise your identity as well. But yet, by Tuesday night, you find yourself actively bypassing your own website's blockers. If you have blockers, or you just go on searching on, probably scrolling on social media or type in very specific keywords on, Google, right? Lying to yourself and executing the exact behavior you swore you hated and you will ever do it again. But guess what? You did it again. And so here's something that I want to talk about. Basically, the conscious mind is the subconscious mind. What's gonna happen here is that since you told yourself they will never do it again, you're gonna start to prove yourself by increasing your willpower, and increasing your willpower will not work. Yes, it might work for 1 week or 2 weeks, but it's not gonna work for a couple months or couple years because you want to overcome this addiction as quick as possible, right? So willpower will not work for you in this case because your nervous system and your dopamine in general is only produced or compatible with the amount of pornographic videos that you've been watching all of these couple years. And so everything stays in your subconscious mind. If you want to fix this, basically just try to make your subconscious conscious and understand every single thought that is going through your subconscious mind, and you will see that a lot of times there is like a small little voice right in your subconscious mind that's going to tell you, just go and relapse, it's okay, just one quick little relapse, you've did a good job, it's been 2 weeks now, blah blah blah. And so the seventh sign is escalating secretive behavior and digital paranoia. This is one of the most relatable as well. I had this issue as well, and that's what actually make you not really confident socially talking here, okay? And so your life is dictated by digital security, and so you constantly use incognito tabs or delete your browser history multiple times a day because you're panicking for what? Panicking that someone probably gonna touch your phone or maybe your computer and live in a constant fear of being exposed. And so you are dedicating significant the amount of cognitive ability they are given, which is all of obviously an energy, just literally by keeping your parallel life completely hidden. And so you're scared that someone will find out. It can be your wife, it can be your spouse, it can be your girlfriend, it can be your kids, whatever, in general, right? And so this is basically connected to the paranoia tax on focus. This is what kind of looks like. I generated this picture. And so escalating, here we go, you can see escalating the secretive actually behavior by using incognito tabs, deleting browser history, panicking over the phone scans, and fear of being exposed basically. And so the cognitive energy, it's gonna get drained over time because obviously it's an energy as well. And so you are as well using your willpower. And so the mechanic parallel life is secretly cultivated. And so the second thing here is the digital paranoia, is that your cognitive energy keeps gonna get drained. Right? By what? By overthinking about the constant fear and planning. And so the effects is that your significant energy is dedicated to secrecy, causing paranoia that drains your mental resources from daily activities that you do on a daily basis. Of course, like focus on work, study, go to your job or whatever. And so what you need to do is, instead of letting all of this energy and living in constant fear, which is a very low frequency that will be vibrating on, is restored cognitive capacity by transmuting this energy into something that will be beneficial. It can be reading books, it can be using the computer and build your own business and so on. Basically, this is just on top of my head what I can tell you right now, but obviously this video is more about the science in general. But look at the board right now. As you can see, look at everything I showed you here, right? If you checked the box on even 3 of these 7 signs, then literally just stop lying to yourself, lying to your identity, and you are not just watching too much. Obviously your nervous system has been systematically hijacked, just like what I've told you previously. And so willpower alone will never save you from a structural problem, because obviously you've been using it as a coping mechanism for years, literally. And so if you were ready to stop white knuckling to fight in isolation and carry your cross like a man actually, and systematically dismantle this loop with the real blueprint, apply for our elite coaching program using the link below. below. Like I've told you, the first thing in the description. Book a free discovery call and let's cram your sound mind and see you inside. And so before you go, check out all of the people that we've helped. We've helped hundreds amount of men overcome porn addiction. So if you are the type of person who is watching pornography and you've checked 3 of those 7 signs, make sure to book a free discovery call. I promise you it's worth it. And we will see if you are a good fit when it comes to our coaching program. And of course, see you in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. Mwah.